You open the fridge and there is nothing in it that can become a meal. Not empty. Just wrong. Condiments. Half an onion. Something in a container you do not open. You close it. You stand in the kitchen for a moment. Then you open it again. Like something will have changed. It hasn't. This is the memory you carry that money cannot touch. Not the account balance. Not the salary. The fridge. The second look. The hoping something changed when nothing changed. And here is what nobody tells you about that moment. It taught you something that $100,000 a year never could. This video is 10 things being broke taught you that being rich never will. Stay until the last one. Because the last one is the only one that actually matters. Level 1. The first time you had nothing. You are 23. The rent is due in 4 days. You have $47 in your account and a phone that keeps ringing from a number you have saved as do not answer. You do not answer. You sit on the edge of the bed and you count the $47 like counting will change it. It doesn't. But you count it anyway. Because at $47 you learn the first thing poverty teaches and nothing else can. Attention. Real attention. Not the kind where you track your spending on an app. The kind where you know exactly what everything costs because every decision is a trade. Bus fare or lunch. Phone bill or electricity. You become precise about money the way someone becomes precise about oxygen when there is not enough of it. The always wealthy never learn this precision. They approximate. You cannot afford to approximate. That precision, the granular, exhausting, humiliating attention to every dollar, is the first and most valuable thing being broke ever gave you. Level 2, the shame level. You stop going to things. Not because you don't want to go. Because going costs money you don't have and explaining that costs something worse. Your friend's birthday dinner. You say you have plans. You don't have plans. You have $12 and a menu that starts at $18. The shame of being broke is not about the money. It is about the performance. Every day you perform okayness. You perform fine. You perform I'm good, just busy. And the performance is exhausting in a way that no one who has never done it can understand. But the shame teaches you something. It teaches you to see shame in other people. Later, when you have money, you will notice it in a room before anyone else does. The person who laughs too quickly when the bill arrives. The one who goes quiet when someone mentions the holiday. You see them. Because you were them. And that seeing, that specific human radar, is worth more than any financial education you will ever receive. Level 3, the hustle level. You learn to fix things. Not because you are handy. Because you cannot afford to pay someone else to fix them. You learn to cook from almost nothing. You learn which supermarket marks down meat at 6 p.m. You learn how to negotiate because you have no other option. You learn that most prices are not prices. They are opening offers. And you only learn that when you cannot pay the opening offer. This is the level where broke becomes a school. Not the school anyone chooses. But the one that teaches the most. Resourcefulness. Problem solving. The ability to look at a situation with no obvious solution and find one anyway. These are the skills that follow you out of poverty. The comfortable never develop them the same way. Because comfort removes the need. And without the need, the skill stays dormant. You needed. And so you learned. Level 4. The relationship cost. You find out who people are when you have nothing. Not because you test them. Because life does it for you. Some people step forward. The friend who drops off food without making it about themselves. The family member who lends money without turning it into a lesson. These people are rare. You learn their names permanently. And then there are the others. The ones who drift. Not cruelly. Just quietly. Invitations slow down. Calls get shorter. And you realize that some relationships were built on what you could contribute to the experience. When you can no longer contribute, the experience moves on without you. This is the most painful thing poverty teaches. But it is also the most clarifying. Because when you have money again, and you will know exactly which relationships are real. And you will protect them with the same precision you once protected $47. Level 5. The first paycheck that changed nothing. You get the job. Better salary. The account stops being a source of dread. You can pay the bills without the calculation. You buy the groceries without checking the total. You go to the birthday dinner. You order what you want. And you sit there waiting to feel different. You don't. Not the way you expected. The dread has left the bank account, but it has not left you. To move. Into the body. Into the way you still flinch when the card reader takes too long. Into the way you still check the balance even though you don't need to. Into the way you still feel like a fraud in rooms you have now earned the right to be in. This is the lesson that breaks a lot of people. They think the money will fix the internal damage. It doesn't. The money fixes the external problem. The internal work is entirely separate. And the only way to do it is to know it exists. Most people who were never broke never know it exists. Level 6, the comparison trap. Now you have some money. Not a lot. Enough. And enough should feel like enough. It doesn't. Because now you can see the people with more. Before, you could not afford to look up. Now you can. And looking up is a trap. Your colleague drives a newer car. Your friend buys a house. Someone you went to school with posts a holiday that costs what you make in a month. The goalpost moves. It always moves. This is the level that gets people who escaped poverty and people who were always comfortable equally. Nobody is immune to comparison. But the person who came from nothing has a weapon the others don't. They remember $47. They remember the fridge with nothing in it. They remember what enough actually felt like when they didn't have it. That memory is an anchor. When the comparison pulls you forward, the memory pulls you back to ground. Use it. Level 7, the identity crisis. You are no longer broke. And you don't know who you are. This sounds strange. It doesn't feel strange. It feels like standing in a room you decorated for someone else. The struggle was the identity. I am the one who survived. I am the one who made it. I am the one who came from nothing. And now that the struggle is over, the identity has nothing to stand on. You try on new versions. The one who has arrived. The one who is building. The one who has left it behind. None of them fit perfectly. Because none of them are entirely true. The truth is you are all of them. The $47 and the salary. The fridge and the restaurant. The shame and the confidence. Both things. At once. Boys. And the sooner you stop trying to be only one of them, the sooner you find out who you actually are. Level 8. The gratitude shift. You are sitting somewhere good now. Good meal. Good company. Good account balance. And you feel something the people around you do not feel. Not because you are better than them. Because you have the contrast they don't have. You know what the other side of this feels like. Not theoretically. In your body. In the fridge. In the second look. And that contrast, that specific knowledge of both sides, is a form of gratitude that cannot be manufactured. You cannot teach it. You cannot read it in a book. You can only earn it the hard way. By having been on the other side long enough to know what it actually cost. The always wealthy are grateful. Many of them genuinely. But they are grateful the way someone is grateful for air. You are grateful the way someone is grateful for air after almost drowning. Different kind of grateful. Different quality of living. Level 9. The purpose pivot. At some point the chase changes. You stop running from broke. You start running towards something else. Not a number. Not a salary. Something that has no price tag. The work that means something. The relationship that costs nothing but time. The morning you wake up and the first thought is not money. This is the moment everything shifts. And it only happens to people who have been on both sides. Because the people who were always comfortable never had a reason to question the chase. The chase is just what you do. You had a reason. You felt the emptiness of the chase from the other direction. You know what running from broke feels like. Exhausting. Endless. And when you stop running from and start moving toward, the energy is completely different. Lighter. Cleaner. More yours. This is the gift that broke gave you that wealth could never give you. The knowledge that the chase itself is optional. Level 10. The door is always open. You open the fridge now. It is full. Everything is there. You close it. And sometimes, not always, but sometimes, you stand in the kitchen for a moment. Not because it is empty. Because you remember when it was. You remember the second look. The hoping something changed when nothing changed. And you are grateful. Not the Instagram grateful. Not the caption grateful. The quiet kind. The kind that sits in the chest and does not need to be said out loud. Money changed what is in the fridge. It did not change the person standing in front of it. That person, the one who counted $47, who declined the dinner, who fixed the broken thing because there was no other option, who lost some people and kept the real ones, that person is still here. And that person knows something the full fridge cannot teach. That the room you are standing in is always you. Money changes the view from the window. It does not change the room. The room is always you. And the broke version of you knew that room better than any version of you since. Subscribe. Every video on this channel shows you what each level of this life actually looks like from the inside. The next one might be the one that changes how you see everything.